Good morning and welcome, everyone. My name is Zopa. I'm really happy that you've come to join at KCC this morning to work on our minds and hearts. And hopefully you'll find a place to rest from the busy world of your own mind, the busy world of others' minds. Find a refuge in the Dharma home. Maybe check if you can hear in the back.
Yes.
Good enough, okay, thank you. And welcome people who are streaming. More and more of you joining in, and we're really happy you can do that. So let's just take a moment and think about your own personal motivation, why you came here today. There's so many things pulling at each of us. Doing this, going here, helping there. But there's some deep heart reason that you came here. So just get in touch with that. In a certain kind of basic way, the Buddha taught good news and bad news. It's kind of funny to label them, but it can be useful. So the bad news you've probably already noticed is suffering. Suffering is. It just is. So far, it seems we haven't found a way to end that. If we had, we wouldn't need to be here. We wouldn't need to be anywhere. We'd be pretty blissful, content, relaxed, happy, skillful at all times. So that's the kind of bad news. And the good news is that the suffering rises in our own minds. Maybe that still sounds like bad news, but the reason it's good news is that we can do something about it. We can actually end it. If the suffering always arose outside of our minds, which mostly, at least my habitual thinking, thinks it's out there, someone doing something I don't like, not doing what I do like, not getting what I want, and getting what I don't want. Seems like it's all happening out there. If I could control it, everything would be fine. Well, I'm 69 in October, and I've tried that for all those years, probably many lifetimes before. So far, that's not working. So it is good news in a way that the suffering arises abides, disappears in our own minds. And that's why the Buddha taught so many methods of training the mind. It's the core piece of Buddhism. No matter which lineage you run into, you will find that as a core piece. And here at KCC, Mahayana Vajrayana Center, we have a particular number of ways of training the mind. And on Sunday mornings, we tackle calm abiding. It's a funny word to say, tackle, because really we hopefully relax into just the nature of our own mind, which aside from all the busyness, is pure and clear, aware. So one of the most common metaphors is the sky, with the thoughts being clouds that pass by. And one of the things that happens for us is we get very caught up in the clouds. I really like that one, so I'm going to just focus on it and enhance it and make stories about it. And then we get into a little difficulty. Or I really don't like that one. I don't want it to arise in my mind. I'm going to push it away. And again, we can see more and more how this kind of grabbing and pushing away causes our suffering. So thought clouds will arise. That's fine, no problem. Just don't grab onto them, don't push them away. Give a gentle hello, goodbye. It's fine. So one of these basic ways of mind training is this calm abiding. Now, on the Mahayana path, we put this in the context of doing this to end our suffering. But it's not kind of a, let's just feel good. That's good. It's good to feel good. But we go beyond that a bit, quite a bit. And on the Mahayana path, the Bodhisattva path, the awakened mind path, we say, I'm here doing this and actually doing everything I do to help end the suffering of all beings. Key word being all. There's no one left out. Friends and family for sure. Strangers, okay. They help me bring the mail, the water to the house, the electricity, the roads I drive on, the car, the clothes, the food. Sure, I'm good with including them. And then the difficult ones, those who call us enemy, because in the world there's someone somewhere who thinks of you as an enemy, or those I call enemy. This is the Mahayana stretch to include them. We'll just leave that as a puzzle for a moment about how we can do that. But let's go forward with our refuge and bodhicitta prayer, with that thought that we're going to include all beings. We're going to be here doing this for all beings with no one left out.
Until the summit of enlightenment is reached and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge, I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness.
For most of us, it's quite difficult to simply focus in a general way on our minds. For the reason that, if you're like me, we get caught up pretty constantly in stories. We could sit a whole session just getting caught in one story after another. So, if that's the way your mind is working, it's helpful to get a kind of anchor in the ocean of stories or the sky full of clouds. One of the most common is to follow the breath. But not in a kind of sleepy, relaxed, general way, but a little more precise than that is helpful. Because we're looking to be relaxed, but also very aware, almost to the point of alert, although that word can tighten us sometimes. So it's a balance between this relaxed state. You might check in with your body. And that's the tool. Anywhere that it's tight, just notice that. And often in the noticing, we let go of the tightness. And it's helpful to bring your attention to the breath. There are a number of people in the room who've meditated for a long time. And you may have other objects of meditation because there are hundreds of them. So the point is to simply notice when we're off the object we've chosen. One Lama used to say, the body stays in the room. You don't get up and wander out the door and go about the world because you've chosen not to. So also, keep the mind here. Notice when it wanders off. Then gently, with no judgment, yet very precisely, bring it back to your object, and then practice clarity on that object. So clarity of the breath would be seeing all the parts of it, many parts of it, seeing if there's any gaps. When does it start? How does it build? When does it end? noticing each breath is actually completely different than the one before, just like each moment is. Nothing ever repeats itself. Only our ignorance makes it seem like that. So now, for about the next 40 minutes or so, till Michael rings the bell, although we'll have a short break in between to stretch, let's just do this together. Getting to know our minds, getting to know how this works very precisely, very gently, very persistently. a stretch if you need.
his searching may I quickly realize my humble drum and establish all beings without exception in this state.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, it's tea time, but before that, we have, as usual, a number of announcements. In order of timing, the first one is, I think, about 35 people from the Sangha, or maybe getting close to 40, are going to head out next Saturday for an 8-day retreat on calm abiding with Eric Treblehorn. So there's probably places left if you want to sign up at the last minute. And that will benefit everybody immensely. The second one is about our fundraiser coming up September 3rd, Labor Day weekend on the Saturday of. And I'm just curious how many people already know about it? Hey, okay, yay, good. I don't think we need to say too much unless Linda or Brooke wants to.
Yeah, I think I have a couple things I'd like to say.
Great,
But first, because so many people are going to the
back, please.
because so many people are going to Eric's retreat next week, just point out, if you haven't noticed on the website, it means David Thornburg will be here just leading meditation, and there won't be Q&A. Just in case you hadn't noticed that, I think it's good for everybody to know, both in the morning and in the evening. So this event is 3 weeks away, which means we're in prime time, because it's just the perfect time if you are sitting to go and contact your neighbors and friends and family members for donations. And I've been really heartened by two things: how willing my neighbors are to help with this, but also how interested they are in coming and joining us to practice. It's been really exciting. So, 3 households around me are going to come to the event and sit with us, and they're very like, oh, how delightful, I've always wanted to try this. So in 2 ways, if you're thinking about participating, it's been very encouraging for me getting ready to do it. The other thing that I think I want to be sure and say is that we really need this income for the general fund to keep KCC's lights on and the insurance paid and things like that. And the point of having us go out to ask our wider connections is to spread out the base of support for the Sangha, because we keep asking ourselves, and I think most of us are giving as much as we can to KCC. So this is a way to kind of spread it out a little bit. That's the other thing that I wanted to say. Oh, the other one thing. We need to have 54 sitters if we possibly can. And right now we have 33 people signed up to sit for donations. So if you're interested, talk to me or talk to Brooke. And I put some information on the bulletin board too, and the packets are out there. Brooke, do you have anything you want to say?
No, just, I think pointing out the meter that you put up.
Put up a thermometer.
Yes. It's a nice visual so that everybody can kind of see where we're at. So Linda created a little, like how we did years ago with the, what was that?
SCOL.
Yes, thank you.
Staff residents.
Yeah, so just another thermometer meter so that you can watch as we gain more sitters, so you can kind of see, we're getting closer. We really need everybody to kind of jump in and help and make this a bigger effort. So inviting people to sit is one ask that you could make to your community, and asking people to pledge you or another KCC member to sit is the second ask that you could make.
Yeah, and if you can't be there, we have several people who are getting the contributions, and then they're just going to sit on another day, or applying their contributions to somebody else.
You can sponsor a sitter.
Yeah. Can I say one other thing that Brooke reminded me of by talking about the thermometer? I just thought you might be interested to know, if you haven't heard, that we have hired the 5th staff person for SCOL. And many of you know this person. It's Anthony Kimball, who has been part of the Sangha for a very long time and has just come back from cooking a 3-year retreat in Crestone, Colorado. And he had a very clear support that he wanted to be out there by the fact that there is a staff residence. You may or may not know that he lived there for over a year in a tent way back when. So to see this apartment, that he can live there at a whole different standard and way, really persuaded him to be excited about the position. So all of you, everybody who worked so hard with that other thermometer to build that place, the staff is really appreciating it. So
Yeah,
thank you.
a group of us were out there yesterday with some children from the KCC children's program and built bluebird boxes in the heat and put them up. I had a nice nap while they did that. And but I got to see pics with the facilities manager out there, and they're just so delighted that Anthony's there. It's working out, and it's taking a lot of pressure off of them because they've been right up to the edge for a year and a half now, year and a quarter, carrying it out. So it's quite a relief. So one more announcement, a delightful one, although they all are. On September 24th, an announcement will soon be going out onto the website. Lama Michael is going to teach that Saturday, all day, 9 to 4, on the songs of Milarepa. So this is going to be way fun.
When is that again?
September 24th, Saturday. And so it's going to be a pretty special time where we're looking at songs and figuring out how that can all work. We won't be learning to sing. That's a whole nother thing. You want me to make it clear we're talking about the content of the songs, taking Milarepa's guidance onto the path. So it'll be quite lovely. Okay, anything else for the good of all?
There's
Please, go
a
ahead.
teacher coming, isn't there?
Yeah, Ringo Toko will be coming in November, Thanksgiving weekend, and there will be a lot more information about that later. But you'll still get your Thursday together with your family or whatever you do. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're hoping for some teachings from him. He's a very astute and wonderful Lama in this lineage. And he also will be going out to the 3-year retreat and blessing them and doing some other things during that next week. So it'll be a very special occasion. So if you can, please come back for Q&A after tea, because it's all about what you need to know for practice. And usually what you are wondering, pretty much everybody in the room is wondering, including the teachers. Okay. So have a nice day.